I feel like you're a very accomplished actor. You've been able to do many things on stage, on film, and TV. What does this moment mean for you?
It's a great opportunity to sort of pause a little bit and to look back a little bit at how incredibly fortunate I've been to be able to work in different mediums and work with such incredible people over the years. Yeah, and hopefully sort of like refocus about like what I haven't done and what the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years could look like.
You're a Manhattan kid, right? You grew up here. You went to like School of the Performing Arts, Fame School.
Yeah, I don't know if that reference, I don't know if
Right,
the
is that
kids
still
get
a
that
reference?
anymore, but
It is for me.
Yeah,
I
me
think of
too.
dancing on taxi cabs.
we didn't do that.
Right, you didn't do that, I know.
Yeah, I was actually kind of relieved that wasn't what school was really like.
What does Broadway and what do the Tony Awards mean for you, like growing up?
I was really lucky to grow up going to theater since I was really too young to see theater. You know, my dad was a high school English teacher, and he was a junior high school teacher and then became a high school principal. But he would take me with his classes to, really off Broadway stuff, the stuff that they could afford to take a class to.
Sure.
And it was really exciting to see real poor theater, like theater where they had no budget and they were just sort of making it happen. And then my grandmother was always a big fan of theater, and she would take me to Broadway. And so I feel so lucky to be able to have, from an early age, seen that whole sort of spectrum of theater. To be working on Broadway, it's easy when you're doing it to forget how special it is, because it's a job like any other job, and you show up and it's the same thing, and in front of the house, it's an exciting night for everybody. It's a night out, but for the actors, we're just going to do our job again. And it's sort of times like this you can sort of step back and realize sort of how special it is.
Do you remember any amazing Broadway performances you saw as a kid?
I remember seeing that original production of Fences with James Earl Jones. That just blew me away. And then I remember seeing Viola Davis in King Hedley II. And I remember that was when the Tonys used to do performances. And I remember she did this blistering monologue from that, and then went on to win the Tony that night. And I remember being so thrilled for her and really feeling like it was such a deserving win. And then when I got out of acting school, I got to work with her just a few years later, which was really still one of the highlights of my career.
This play sort of came about, this is a play appropriate, it's been done sort of off-Broadway and regionally a lot. It's actually considered a revival, even though it's new to Broadway.
And there were significant rewrites too. So it is sort of a new play from even those earlier productions.
Yeah. What was your reaction when you first read it? Did you think this was something special?
Yes. I had never seen or read any other Branden Jacobs-Jenkins plays before, so I was totally unfamiliar with him, and I read it and just immediately it was just, this new, incredibly strong, incredibly smart, biting, yet full of love and empathy, this new voice. Yeah, I just knew if the opportunity were to arise, I needed to work, at least, if not on this play, at least on some play, because he really is an exciting new voice. And then years later, when it came around and I saw that Lila was going to direct it and Sarah was going to be in it, it just made it something that I really was excited about and was thrilled when the offer came my way.
You've been able to do so many incredible things. Like just sitting with you, I'm just thinking of so many characters I've been able to see you play all over the spectrum. I wonder at this point in your career, what sort of excites you about a role? What about this role made you want to commit? This is a time commitment too, to do a Broadway run.
It doesn't happen that often where everything sort of comes together. And so, I've been doing this long enough to know that the combination of script and director and cast and design team and theater, when it all comes together, that's really special. And so you want to nurture that, and you want to continue.
Right now it feels like people can balance film and TV with theater in a really nice way that I don't feel like existed 20 years ago.
No.
I feel like when people came to Broadway, it just kind of felt like that's what they were doing instead of film and TV.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, for you and Sarah Paulson to dedicate time to something like this, it's seen differently by the industry, don't you think? And seen in Hollywood differently.
You know, the two biggest breaks I've had in my career were actually through theater. I did Intimate Apparel, which started in New York at the Laura Pels Theater, and then we moved to the Mark Taper Forum, and that's where I got to go to LA and meet all the casting directors and the directors there, and that sort of started my film career. And then I came back and I was like, I want to take a break from that, and I did A View from the Bridge, and that led to Midnight in Paris, which is really sort of was a sort of before and after in terms of my career. So theater has been really good to me. It's a place where I think I do my best work and where I can sort of showcase myself the best. And yeah, I think I've been really lucky in that sense.
What is it like to be a part of this group that gets celebrated once a year, right? It's such a unique experience, the Tony Awards, for real theater actors like yourself.
It's incredible because also, you know, I'm not from the musical side at all. I'm really unfamiliar with really sort of half of the nominees. I mean, and so that's been really exciting to sort of see people who've really dedicated themselves to theater. It's an award, it's subjective, there's a million worthy people who don't get the nomination, but it's one of those awards where the people who do get nominations, it's coming from an enormous amount of sacrifice and hard work, and that's a really beautiful thing to be a part of.